Well, you're watching World Talks on TVP World. My name is Sascha Fahrbach. Now, Poland has signed a deal to service its new U.S.-made AH-64E Apache attack helicopters domestically in the central city of Łódź. Now, Prime Minister Donald Tusk announced that on Monday. The agreement between Poland and U.S. defense contractor Lockheed Martin means that maintenance for the 96 Apaches purchased under the 2024 $10.8 billion contract will take place at home. Now, what this deal means and how it impacts Poland's defense posture, we're now joined in the studio by Damian Ratka, Senior Editor of Defense 24. Thanks for coming by and joining us.
Thank you.
All right, so let's look first at this deal. It's an offset deal here. So
yes.
What kind of, let's say, benefits, technological things, skills does Poland gain out of this?
Okay, so in reality, the offset is probably separated into three phases. This is the phase one. So it's signed with Lockheed Martin, and it's about building capabilities in the Polish industry to maintain, repair and overhaul certain systems of the helicopter. So primarily the longbow fire control radars, the PNVS and MTATs, electro-optical targeting and navigation systems. So this is the phase one. It is expected that in nearest future, 2 more contracts for the offset will be signed. One with the Boeing, which is the integrator and manufacturer of the entire helicopter. And we'll see what that offset will contain. And the second is with General Electric, which is the manufacturer of the engines. And the engines MRO, so maintenance, repairs and overhaul, is very important because H-64E will share the same family of engines, not the same engines per se, but the family of the engines with all other modern helicopters that are right now inducted into the service in the Polish armed forces. So with the Black Hawks, with the AW-149 helicopters. So this is, of course, very beneficial from logistics point of view, financial point of view. And also Polish industry will gain new competences in this regard.
Let's also talk about the Apache helicopters themselves. Right now, if we're looking at, these are attack helicopters, yes. Right? So tell us how significant they are. What do they do for Poland's capabilities? And what does Poland have right now as we speak?
So the primary role of the attack helicopter is mostly to be a flying tank destroyer. So H-64E can be armed either with the Hellfire missiles or the new joint air-ground missiles. And these missiles are typical guided anti-tank missiles, but they can be used also to attack other very important targets, like, for example, air defense systems, various command centers, if they are in the range of these missiles. And obviously, attack helicopter is a very multi-role machine. So it can also provide ground support with unguided or guided rockets for ground forces. It can provide even a local short-range air defense, because either helicopter can be armed with short-range anti-air missiles, or its 30mm chain gun mounted on the underside of the fuselage can be also used in entire air role, especially when we talk about defeating drones. This is a method that was developed by the Israelis, and right now every user of the H-64, Israelis are also a user of the H-64, are copying that method, that the gun can be used to shut down drones. And the US Army is right now working on a new ammunition with proximity fuse to more effectively, more efficiently defeat drones. And that ammunition can be implemented into the helicopter without any major modernization or changes into its design. So I suspect that in the future, Polish Army will also procure that ammunition when it will only become available as an export item.
Okay. It does sound like it's quite the versatile beast, this attack helicopter. Now, but if we're looking at right now, I mean, we're looking at some of those images. This is something that seems to be needed at this very moment in time. What is the current state of what does Poland have now in terms of aircraft? I know they're leasing some of these helicopters, but when would these 96 actually be service ready, ready to be deployed? How long does that take?
Okay, so the plan is, and it's based on the very similar schedules and planning when we procured the Abrams tanks from the United States. So the phase one is to loan vehicles in this case, helicopters from the United States Army. This is 8 helicopters, and they are used in Poland to train pilots, the weapon operators, and the maintenance crews in operating these and maintaining these helicopters. So when our helicopters will start to be delivered from the United States, first crews, first instructors will be ready here in Poland to train other crews and start operational use of these helicopters. Of course, this will take time.
And how much time will that take?
To take, for example, the initial operational capability probably will take something like 1 year to 2 years, something like that, for the first batches of helicopters, I suspect. First helicopters will be delivered, if I am not mistaken, 2027, 2028, something like that. And of course, 96 machines is a lot of, it's a large order to produce them. So it will take several years before the United States will deliver all of them. But let's say that gradually more and more companies and battalions will be ready to operate.
All right. And I want to go back a little bit. I mean, this is something that also the Prime Minister said, that I'm just quoting here, Poland was able to negotiate the helicopter contract and offset in a friendly but firm manner. It's a principle they follow. I want to go back to history a little bit. 2016, there was also a deal that basically fell through. I mean, this, I think, was a different kind of helicopter. We're talking about the Caracal, the French Airbus helicopters. Yeah. So what, if anything, did Poland learn out of that experience? Why did that deal fall through? How does that compare to today?
Well, I do not remember exactly what was the reasons, and these were transport helicopters. But in reality, we never signed the final agreement to procure them. It was simply the decision to resignate from that deal, right? When it comes to negotiating the procurement of various weapon systems, of course, firm negotiations are the most primary basics, right, of procuring that kind of weapon systems. Because procuring a weapon system is only one part of the deal. The second part of the deal is to maintain them through the entire life cycle. So of course, we can base only the maintenance on the original equipment manufacturer, right? But this will start over time to be very expensive. So it is the best to procure the weapon system that we cannot design and manufacture on our own, and then transfer as much technology as we can to our own industry to get that maintenance, repairs, and overhauls processes to reduce the cost, because a lot of money then stays in the Polish economy or any other country, right? Many countries do the same.
So the hub then in Łódź is quite significant in terms of what is able to be done there, right?
Yes, correct.
Okay. And then also, just real quickly, one final one. I mean, there are other defense manufacturers out there. I mean, some of the Europeans are looking at this Eurocopter, I believe. So how does the Apache stack up against that? Do you see Poland also looking at other options down the line, or is Poland now staying only with the Americans on this?
It's only the AH-64 right now in the game, due to various reasons. It's undeniably the most advanced, the best attack helicopter on the market today. The Eurocopter Tiger, this is a good example that without any previous experience with that kind of machines, the European manufacturers wanted to design something with capabilities similar or better than the Apache. Yet, because of that lack of experience, many problems, delays, and also cuts in military financing, there were a lot of problems. And for example, Australia procured the Eurocopter Tiger, and after many years of problems during their operational use, they decided that it's enough. We will withdraw them from service and replace them with Apaches. Even if Apache, when we look only at the years of development and introduction into the production and service, it's an older design than the Eurocopter Tiger. It is more reliable, it is more developed, it's simply a better machine. And more users of the Apache is over the globe, as the US allies are procuring them. Of course, not every country have enough money to procure and maintain a fleet of that kind of helicopters. But if someone have the money to do that, they definitely procure that kind of weapon systems.
All right, so as we said there, that means it's a very versatile, as you said, the best on the market. Poland will have the second largest fleet.
Yes.
You said between 2027, 2028, we'll see, but that's now coming to the fore. Thanks so much for that insight. That was Damian Ratka with us today, Senior Editor, Defense 24. Thank you.
Thank you.
And thank you for watching. That concludes World Talks, but stay right here on TVP World for more news and commentary. Goodbye.